Good evening and welcome to this edition of the EPL, English Premier League and Bermuda Overseas Players live show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Jason Juglin J. Ford. Well, Jay, deadline day for transfers over in the EPL or over in the English League and pretty much just about all the leagues. But the transfer deadline has now ended some 32 minutes ago, with teams now verifying who they got and who they let go. We'll get to that, but first let's run down the results from this past weekend. It was Nottingham Forest 7, Brighton Hove Albion 0, Newcastle 1, Fulham 2, Everton 4, Leicester City 0. Ipswich Town 1, Southampton 2, Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 2, Wolves 2, Aston Villa 0, Manchester United 0, Crystal Palace 2, Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspurs 2, Arsenal 5, Manchester City 1, and then today it was Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1. Well, Jay, I guess one of the biggest shockers was the first game of the day on Saturday where Nottingham Forest scored 7 times, coming off a week where they conceded 5 goals. They lost 5-0 the week before.
Yeah, that was I think, well, first things first, good night to everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely a shock. I had to look twice because I woke up and I started watching it. Then, next thing you know, girls going in. I'm like, okay, hold on. What is really going on here in Nottingham Forest? Because like I said, last week I said, well, maybe they've come back down to earth after losing 5-0 last week.
Right.
No, they picked back up and hey, they were on a roll.
They were in the Forest last week, not out of the Forest this week.
And Brighton's not one of those teams that give up a lot of goals on the regular, right? So that was, even that in itself was more shocking than anything because, Brighton is a pretty decent team, but whoa, that was
Going into the game, they had only conceded 31 goals.
Well, there you go, right?
From 24 games. So if you look at that, that's less than 1.2 goals a game. But you turn around and you give up 7, it kind of hurts your goal difference because you only scored 35 and you're giving up 38 now. Where a team like Forest, they had only scored they had scored 31 and given up 27. So that 33 and given up, because they now scored 40 goals. But that was, we actually spoke on Saturday and it was like, boy, that's a shocker. Not the fact that Forest won; it was by this score. Yeah.
I mean, Brighton. They just looked out old. So they were scratching where they wasn't even itching, man.
Yeah.
But then again, if you look at it, if you look at it, the last couple of results, they beat Ipswich 2-0. They beat United 3-1. But then last week, remember, they lost to Everton, right? So be interesting because, strangely enough, right, they have Chelsea next in the FA Cup,
right,
and then Chelsea again
in the league. Yes,
in the league. So yeah, it's that middle of the table pack. And we'll talk about that later, but that middle of the table pack, you can just throw a coin and who knows who's going to win, who's going to lose.
Yeah.
And by how much?
That's right. Yeah. I guess the other shocker or eyebrows raiser was the final score between Arsenal and Manchester City. Coming into the game, we know the highs and lows of what Manchester City is going through. They're struggling. We keep talking about, their age and Arsenal's got this youthfulness about themselves right now, and they just blew them right off the park. for long periods of time, Manchester City looked like a championship team chasing the ball.
Well, I mean, they've been on actually a recovery run for the last few games. Having beaten Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, and then last weekend. But that also signified you mentioned about them aging, right? That signify what they've done in this transfer window. They was probably the last team to get a player over the line, that guy Gonzalez. That's on the stroke of the end of the deadline.
Yep.
All bring in all these youngsters, and that's gonna be some nice youth energy to put towards that team, especially in the midfield,
right,
where they have definitely been suffering with the lack of legs for better words, right? So, be quite. And I think with Chelsea, you think of that match. You just look at someone like Chelsea, where they revamped the whole squad in the last couple of years with a lot of youth, where they'll be able to send some guys out this window, right? And there's a few more that was on the block that didn't go. And Cuckoo was supposed, teams were looking at him and a few others.
Right.
Looks like Joao Felix. Looks like he's going back. So be interesting now with these young players, how they can adapt to Man City and what's going to happen with City, because City does have a few. You look at the games coming up. You got the FA Cup. That's a lower league against Leyton Orient. Champions League against Real Madrid on the 11th.
Yeah.
And followed by that is Newcastle.
Right.
So it doesn't really get any easier for them. And I say that because when I look at the fixtures for Liverpool and Arsenal, they pretty much have an easy month. They don't really have a really challenging game on paper until the last game of the month.
They have quite a few games, but not that big.
Like you would expect them to win the next few games, right?
Yeah.
So
they have to. For Liverpool and for Arsenal, they have mountains to overcome. Arsenal on Wednesday night, Liverpool on Thursday night.
Well, that's, like I said, that's with the Champions League, right?
No, that's the FA Cup.
Oh, FA Cup. I'm sorry, FA Cup.
Yeah,
yes,
second legs of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
No, not FA Cup.
Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup. Yeah.
League Cup.
The second legs. And I know both of them would want to win that, because that puts you into Europe before the season ends.
No, hold up, Earl. Let's think about it, right? Did you watch the first leg of that?
Yeah.
You remember both teams pretty much used the young squad, right?
Yeah.
The big side. So it'd be interesting what side they use.
I look at it like this. What Liverpool done last week with their team in the Champions League, resting the starting lineup for Saturday going, that gave them 7-8 days off, right? Now they'll have 3 games in 8 days, and then they can rest them again. So I think Slot will end up Slot will end up playing a strong team on Thursday to get them to the final. And then on Saturday, because they play FA Cup on Saturday, right?
So I'll tell you that. So I believe, and just because I see who they're going to play after this, I believe they're going to play their strongest team, because on Sunday, the FA, they have Plymouth.
Yeah.
and then the following Wednesday, had that Everton.
And their makeup game. So
Merseyside derby, right? That was it the weather that something happened?
Yeah, it was a storm on Merseyside. Yeah.
Right. And then after that, they play Wolves, and then City at the end of the month, 23rd.
Yeah, so they'll play the strongest team on Thursday. They'll start pretty much strong on Sunday. And then if they get total control of the game, they'll bring all those guys off, and they'll be ready for Wednesday night. Now, Arsenal's down 2-0, right?
Excuse me?
Is Arsenal down?
Hold on. Let me double check with that, because
I know Liverpool's down 1-0.
Liverpool's down 1. Arsenal, let me just double check here. Arsenal, they are down. Yep, 2-0.
2-0, right?
To Newcastle.
So, yeah, so they have to come with their strongest team and overcome a 2-goal deficit right from the outset, which means for the first 45 minutes they'll attack but not all out. But if the score is still 0-0 or even 1-0, that second 45 minutes for a period of time, they have to attack if they want to get to the final. That's going to leave gaps open at the back where Newcastle's going to look to counterattack, and all they're going to do is put one away.
Well, what they'll be looking for, and hopefully Newcastle don't do it, but they'll be looking to whoever scores first is going to really control the tempo of that game.
Yeah.
Because if Newcastle's able to score in the first half,
right,
what does Arsenal do?
Yeah, what do they do? Do they just pack it up and say, you know what, let's just get out of here with no injuries?
Yeah.
Or do they challenge and try to make a comeback and get to the final? It's one of those things. The coach has to look at what's at stake, because you still have, if Liverpool slip up, they are in the prime position to win the league. Right now, on court form.
Yeah. And because they didn't pick up no players in this transfer window, right? Yeah. They have Leicester on the 15th, then they play West Ham at home, and then they'll away to Nottingham Forest.
Tough baby. Tough baby.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everybody right now, the top of the table, you can't give up any points. The bottom of the table, you need every point. And the middle of the table, like you said, just toss a coin up.
Just toss a coin.
Yeah.
Because realistically, between the middle of the table, anybody gets on a run of 2 consecutive games, they could jump 6 places.
Yeah, you could be up to 8. Yeah.
And you lose 2, you can be down in 16th.
That's right. I mean, you look at what it's called, Tottenham. Tottenham won. They were in 16th. They're now into 14th, but only 2 points off of Manchester United, who are in 13th. But a win for Tottenham next weekend puts them on 30 in 12th place. A win for Manchester United puts them on 32 in 11th place. So it's all tight there in the middle. Instead, I think the problem is, Ipswich have 16, Leicester City have 17, Wolves have 19, and then Everton, who have made a resurgence under the new coaches, on 26.
Yeah. Well, I just think 26 from 16th to 9th place is 10 points different.
10 points, that's right. Yeah.
But like you said, you go the other way. You're 9 points out of the relegation.
Yeah. And I know everybody next week Wednesday, everybody be glued to the TV, because they're gonna hope that the new coach, the return of the visit at Everton, can pull one over on Liverpool to allow Arsenal to get right back into the league and only be down by 6 points. The fear is, if Liverpool win that game, they're 9 points ahead.
Yeah.
They could lose 2 games and still win the league, still run out winners.
Yeah.
That's the problem that they face right now. However, if Everton are able to win that game, then they have an opportunity to derail Liverpool and their chance of winning the league. So, next week Wednesday's match, regardless of what happens on Wednesday and Thursday this week, I think next week Wednesday's match pretty much decides whether or not teams stay in the race or Liverpool can just close out the season, following that win.
Well, I'll tell anybody, for you to be a champion, especially in these type of leagues, first things first, you got to have a bit of luck.
Yes.
But you also got to pick up points when you're not playing good.
Right.
And that's where Liverpool has done good at this year.
Yeah.
Games where they've been so-so, they found a way.
Yeah. They weren't that explosive against Brentford on the weekend.
Nope.
You know, Brentford created a lot of chances, but just could not. Allison made some brilliant saves, and defenders were in the ways at times. And you know, Liverpool get the penalty, they score, and then you know a moment of genius from Salah kind of wrapped the game right up. I mean, that left-footed curler, the goalkeeper, he got to go back to the turnstile and got a ticket to come in because he stood there and watched it. You know, but no disrespect to the goalkeeper, it was. I mean, the way he took it.
It was a beaut.
Yeah.
But
Jay, as a goalkeeper, you would know if a defender crosses you just at the time he's taking his shot, you're lost sight for a split second, and it's very difficult to recover.
That's it. Quickly. But you saw how the momentum changed after that first goal, and even today's game with Chelsea and West Ham today. Yeah. But I think West Ham definitely had a great game playing in the first half, especially with Porter going back to Chelsea. Really had the team solid playing a low block. Second half, pretty much the same early, but when they made a couple of changes and brought on some energy, especially with the guy Neto. And then I believe the first goal was a foul on Bowen.
Right.
Prior to the build-up.
Right.
Even if West Ham had a chance to get back and, you know, get a defense. But it was definitely a foul. There's nobody can tell me that we're in a foul.
Yeah.
And then
they over on Sky News they were referring to it that it should have been looked at a lot closer.
And that changed the game. That goal gave Chelsea so much energy. They ruled the game after. And then, then once again, we just talking about luck, right? That second goal was just luck.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to cross it, take a deflection over the head of the keeper's already going down. It was here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that gives Chelsea, you know, a little bit of hope. Just to see if they could try to get into the Champions League.
Yeah.
But I mean, you need to stay up like that. You need some luck.
Yeah. Well, look, Jay, let's take a
surprisingly enough, surprisingly enough, they didn't make any moves, especially with the keeper. Yeah.
Chelsea, I think they did late. I think they did. What we'll do, we'll take a commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll look at them. Some of the moves by these clubs, especially the late moves in the transfer market. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? Kick off the new year with the hydration you need to keep moving. Recover 180 is organic hydration designed for today's athlete, packed with electrolytes and essential nutrients to fuel your active lifestyle. Whether you're hitting the gym, the field, or just staying refreshed, Recover 180 is your go-to recovery drink. Start your year strong with Recover 180. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Yeah, Jay, you did mention that Chelsea hadn't picked up any players, and they hadn't over the. I thought they did make a late move, but they have not picked up anybody. They lost quite a few players. The big winners on paper in this transfer market would be Aston Villa. You think?
Yeah, but also, you see what City, because City spent over 170 million pounds.
Yeah.
No, but Villa. I mean, Emery, man. It's interesting, especially when it came. Well, see, Villa's a little tricky with me because they got rid of somebody, the Durant. I believe he's a good player.
Yes,
He's definitely a good player. Mind you, that opened up, by them getting rid of him, that opened up the door to pick up Rashford.
Right.
We have mentioned last couple of weeks with Rashford, there's the salary.
Yes.
What's the salary? So, especially Durant going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. 64 million, 64, 65 million.
Whoa. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Get that. And because of that situation, they're able to pay, and I believe they're paying close to 75% of
75%. Yeah, they're paying 75%. Yeah. And with an option, if he does well, they'll pay 90%. So to tell you the truth, Jug, United still have a problem because they got 10% or even 10% of Rashford's salary on their books.
You know how many other guys on their books?
Well, that's that. But I'm saying it just adds to another problem of financing that they have.
Yeah, that's put it this way: to get that much money off the books right now, well, eventually it's gonna come off the books. Yeah, I mean, for them, that's what it ends up coming down to, right? Because for me, like I said, there's no way I'm gonna pay this guy all this money and then not playing. It's just making no sense to me.
Right? Ultimately, it didn't make any sense.
But then again, when you look at Chelsea with Joao Felix, right? They put him up to the loan. They just picked him up last year at 45 million. They just picked him up. Literally just got him last year. And they're putting him to the loan. So
the manager said he's been a bit unfair to him. He made a comment that he's been a bit unfair to him because he hasn't given him a good run at playing.
Okay. And how does that help?
It doesn't help. Now that he's going.
I'm just gonna say
Did you see that? Now that he's going.
My boy says that as he goes out the door. Hey, I ain't been referring to you, but hey, have a nice time. I'll see you when you get back.
But Chuck, that's what they say when people pass on. Oh, but he was such a good guy while he was a Bond.
But see, now think about it, right? He's gonna be back in 2 months, 3 months. He'll be back.
Yeah.
So you probably ain't going nowhere. You just kick the can down the road a bit.
Well, you're done. That's all
you're done. So tell me something. Somebody like him, right? Who's basically out of the score because of numbers, right?
Right.
What happens? He goes and performs.
Well, the manager then gets looked at differently. And it's the same thing. If hypothetically, because I was talking today and I said, if Rashford goes to Aston Villa, now that they got rid of the striker and the other talented players got a groin injury, so now he's going to be pushed up to where he wanted to play.
Yeah.
Front.
Yeah.
If he
Why?
starts begging in girls, how do the fans look at one, him, and two, the manager of Manchester United?
Oh, do you see where they played Mino yesterday? Okay. I don't want to say, put it this way, them looking at the coach right now side-eyed is an understatement, okay?
Oh, yeah. Because now that everybody's kicking up because they've let two strikers go, two front players go.
Well, if you want to think about it, Earl, they basically let three of the brightest youngsters go in the last 3 years, right? When you look at Rashford, who was supposed to be part of our future, Sancho, which they brought in back to be a part of our future, and also Mason Greenwood.
That's right. Yeah.
And those are the players that really were supposed to be leading the front line for the future.
Yeah.
So all the issues that each one of those players have had, and if you go back to it, right, for the most part, it's been coach's decision.
Yes. Yeah.
There wasn't most of the issues was not on the field of play.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting going forward. Put it this way, I don't remember too many players that come in this late start off with a burner, because a lot of times, especially if they're coming from another country, a lot of times it's a transition, it's an adjustment.
Right. The pace is a little bit. I mean, if you play in Spain, we all recognize the Spain formation of play, where the team gets the ball, everybody kind of just drops back into the half and allows them to play the ball around in the half, and then until they get to the final third, they attack the ball. Where in England, boys, they pass the ball in the penalty area, somebody's attacking the ball. So, the pace is a little different, and players. I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy Tal that went to Tottenham, I'm pretty sure the former Tottenham player at Bayern Munich had a word with him.
Yeah, but like I said, coming from Borussia Dortmund, that's probably rated as probably one of the mid teams of the table. Well, then again, it's coming to Tottenham, who's in the mid.
Yeah. Tottenham look like they've been over Iraq or somewhere, man. They're walking wounded, man.
Oh man, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. But Earl, we say that's that style of play, right? And I was something that I took note the other day, right? Just on the lineups. And I know a few years ago, I mean, especially prior to the World Cup, and it's been happening probably the last 10, 15 years, is that the English FA was getting concerned about lack of English players. First teams, right? But going over the lineups this weekend, you can't find too many English players starting for the top 4 or 5 teams, and even on the bench. Now, mind, I think I think it's included. The number or the percentage is included with their under 23 squad.
Right. Yes. But it's funny you say that, Jay, because I drew reference. It was a discussion. I had some people over and they were discussing elections and stuff in Bermuda, and people were talking about foreign workers and all that. I said, "Oh well, who's your English football team?"
Yeah.
So name an English person in your English football team on percentage. But those are all foreign players that have made the league better. So use that sport as your politics and say we need. I'm not saying we need a million foreign people, but you need foreign people in order to improve what you have in your country already. And that's
I see what you're saying. What you're saying is basically it should be a guideline, right? Because it is a short term. Yeah, it's a specialized talent.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And hopefully it'll rub off on the young people that are around you so they could come through.
Right.
That's the idea of any foreign-based player or even a foreign coach.
Uh-huh.
It's always supposed to be a succession plan. When they come here, they're supposed to train up the next Bermudian coach coming forward.
Oh, yeah. Well, go around the English Premier Division and tell me what English coach do they have?
That's the point I'm making, and that's why the international squad has been struggling because those players are not playing at a high enough level.
They're not exposed to that English Premier League enough. Yeah.
Which is probably
League Championship or they're playing somewhere over in Europe where they're still sitting on the bench. They're not really starting.
Well, just think about it. How many English players are playing in the Serie A? Not many.
Not many at all. Yeah.
If any, right? So when you talk about the Serie A, the Premier League, and what's another top league, you don't see too many English players playing.
No.
When you bet one of your best, well, your captain, your striker, is going to play in Germany.
Yeah.
Besides Bellingham, Bellingham playing for Real Madrid. Other than that, and even if you look at England's goalkeeper, national goalkeeper, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Pope. You look at they're not coming from the top teams.
Not at all.
So it'd be interesting going forward how these transfers, because once again, you see a lot of the youngsters being learned out, the English youngsters being learned out.
True.
Chelsea done more work of learning out the youngsters.
Yeah.
To get some playing time.
Yeah, playing time. That's right. Yeah.
So interesting times, but hey, it's all said and done. About pretty much it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So now basically you got what you got.
Now let the games be played.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, we're going to take our second commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Gary Adams after the under-17 young ladies have advanced to the next round of the World Cup qualifiers. And also we're going to hear from Sergio Godo, one of the coaches for the under-17 boys team that will get going on Friday night at the National Sports Center in the World Cup qualifiers, knowing that if they win the group, they're off to the World Cup. So let's take a commercial break and we'll be back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
This year, Lindo's is making it easier than ever to shop your weight with our brand new Drop It website coming to you on January 6th. Fresh groceries, convenient delivery, and now an upgraded online shopping experience. Whether you're planning meals or restocking your pantry, enjoy fast, reliable service wherever you are on the island. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, Jay, as I said, we will hear from Gary Adams. We spoke to him right after the news came, or the end of the Saturday night matches, that we realized that Bermuda had advanced to the next round. And here's that conversation with Gary Adams.
I mean, after the bottom is low of yesterday losing the way we did, and then they seen the results today, and there was like the weighted averages and all these different circumstances played into how we could win, and to have it go our way, it just explains the highs and lows of football. Like, it's incredible. And truthfully, now that we are actually confirmed to be in, I'm actually glad we lost the way we did yesterday, because now it shows the two sides of the game where you always have to stay humble, work hard, and regardless of what happens, you always have a chance, right? I truly believe that if we would have won yesterday, that lesson that we were taught yesterday and what it would do for the future development, the character of the girls and everything, would have never benefited us in the long run. So to see all the hard work pay off today, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. But like you said in your voice message, now, to be honest, as much as I'm excited and I'm proud of everything that these girls have done, the truth of the matter is the hardest work starts now. So now we really have to get back. And in my opinion, now the next 2 months is we got to be we got to develop technically and physically exponentially in the next 2 months. Because that's what we're going to need to be able to battle the next round when it really comes down to the powerhouses, you know what I mean, in the region. So the hard work starts now. As much as it's good, the girls might get a week off to recover, and then we need to hit the ground running, because April's going to come pretty quick. You know, besides football, the fact that now we have this jubilation after the sorrows of yesterday, I actually hope they just take this message of like, listen, just life. When things are really hard and don't go your way, if you don't give up, you can turn it around, because you just never know what's going to come around the corner. So if this literally 24-hour experiences changes their life for the person and the footballer, that's success in itself. Because they can use this moment to spur them on in almost any aspect of their life, right? So that's a blessing in disguise, because yesterday's low was low, right? And within 24 hours, you know, the worst opportunity or worst result now becomes the greatest opportunity. So I hope they can just take this lesson. We can persevere, right? And I don't even know what to say right now. I'm stuck between my words and smiling. Like, I'm so happy for them. And I mean, we know that the next round is going to be massive, right? So it's a massive step up. And I'm not naive to the obstacle that we have to overcome, but it's a challenge we need to face, because we need to make this standard now our lowest standard of always qualifying. That's our goal. So this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, Jay, that was Gary after, you know, the girls had played really, really well. They balled out, well, finished second, last kick of the game against Puerto Rico on the final day of the competition for them, going down 2-1. But then 24 hours later, it was you know, pure, you're going from tears to you know, big smiles and you know, just listening to Gary, you could hear how proud he was of the way, you know, they handled themselves throughout the tournament. That second game, that big 5-1 victory, was what actually pushed them over the top, because to have one of the second best rank, it all came down to goal difference.
Well, first things first, proud.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke about expectations, right? Prior to them going down. And once again, we've punched well above our weight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do as a country. You mentioned the game before where they scored the 5, right? But Earl, guess what? I even turn it down to every game, every block, every chase down, right? When you look at things like that, they might go unnoticed on a score sheet. But that block or you marking the most valuable player out of the game, or there's different things, that all makes a difference.
Yeah.
It all makes a difference. And that's when you look at when we want to say all hands on deck. Well, guess what? Now we got to the challenge we want. Now they're going to be challenged even more.
Yeah.
When you look at the likes of Panama and El Salvador, where I don't want to say they cruised through, but when they scored 20 and 22 goals in the group,
in the group stage, yes.
yeah, that's this is what we asked for. This is what we asked for,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And in saying that, once again, we talk about, a lot of times we talk about, punching over our weight. Well, guess what? Cuba's not good. Cuba didn't get in advance. Guatemala didn't advance.
Jamaica
did not advance.
Yeah. Big countries: Cuba, Guatemala, Jamaica, and Dominican Republic not going to the next round. Big. That's. You look at that. That's a shocker.
And Earl, I go back and I give so much praise for Coach Keita and Coach Brown and these lot.
Mm-hmm.
Earl, let's think about it. Let's go back. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. They didn't even have a girls' league.
Yeah.
Remember, they didn't have a league, Earl.
Yeah. Through the perseverance of Coach Keita and Vance Braun, following on from the late Gregory Grimes, they kind of spurred on women's football, and now we've seen it grow to where it is. To like you said, we have to give them their due, because they kept it going. They fought against the odds, kind of thing, and now they have a league. Pretty much, I have my doubt. I have my things about them having to play in the summer, but it is what it is. They have a league, but I would rather them. Years ago they played during the same time that the men played and shared the same stages. But now it would appear, okay, you girls just go and play over here at the BFA field. We only need you around to make sure that we get what we get from the from FIFA.
Well, first things first, I'm glad they're playing.
Yeah. I'm not against that.
And I think we probably have to just put in that whole scenario the lack of referees too, right? So, I don't want to speak for any of both sides, but I know we still know there's still a lack of referees.
Without a doubt.
What I will say to this, and this could segue onto the next topic, right? What I would say to this, guess what? Now that set a standard for the under 17 boys now.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, and
this.
And guess what, Juggler? It's going to be a lot more pressure on those under 17 boys, because they're playing at home.
That's right. I'll be there.
and Bermudians are very judgmental. They come with, a lot of time, and you hear me say this a lot. A lot of times people hope that teams do bad just so they can complain about whatever they want to complain about. They're not there to encourage and support and so forth. A lot of people show up to games just to say, why isn't so and so in the team, or how come he started and how come he didn't start, or how come he wasn't coming on the field and all that. I just think we're very critical, especially when it comes to our own. But the minute somebody else comes in and speaks with a different language, all of a sudden they're good.
Yeah, but that's one of our our bad traits when it comes
Yeah,
to that, because sometimes it might be easy probably to play away from him, right? When you look
yeah,
at that nature, right?
yeah,
But these young fellas, guess what? They're gonna have the opportunity. Once again, their expectations might be a little bit different, right?
yeah,
But once again, as Bermudians, we have to support them no matter what. These are young people. Number
yeah.
one, first and foremost, they are young people and they are representing us.
Us. That's right. That's
And
right.
I think sometimes we lose that. Yes,
Hmm.
it is a game, but they're still representing us.
All of us. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
not just a portion of us, like you
yeah,
said, or a couple of us, because guess what? If they win the group, guess what? We want to have parades and we would have
yeah, yeah, yeah,
motorcades
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
if they don't win the group and they don't do that, then we don't even want to show up down the airport for them. So
yeah, yeah.
like let's what we say, keep that energy, keep that
Hmm.
same energy when they're winning.
Yeah.
Because we're
Well,
gonna need, once again, if they, when they're not successful, we need to support them even more.
even more. That's right. That's right. That's right. We need to keep encouraging. We need to keep
You-
encouraging. Well, I had a chat today with one of the coaches for the under-17 boys, Sergio Gura, and he talked about the support. Let's hear it from Sergio.
Operations have been going well. We kind of started in the summer with the Triangle Cup. And with the local based players, we've been training twice a week. Some Sundays we've been giving them some spinning and stuff. And as you know, most of the players based off Ireland. So we've been in touch with them, keeping track of their progress with their clubs and stuff. And it's time that in a tournament like this, you win the group and you go right to the World Cup. So what we're pushing through to the players is to have that mindset, to win it in, meaning like, we're going to the World Cup. So there's the conversations that we're having. Like it's not ifs, buts, we gotta truly believe that we could do this. And being in our country, yeah, it's an advantage, having the home crowd. But what I would just ask is, because Bermudians, including myself, we're very critical when it comes to sports. So, I would just ask to come with a positive mindset so that they can transfer onto the players and just, give us your best. And we're going to do our best for you to make the country. Well, to be honest, the good thing about this, I should have mentioned it earlier, is that, I mean, I can go on a limb and say if this is the first time this ever happened as far as having so many players that are in those professional environments. So they already are living that lifestyle. So it kind of, I would say, makes it a bit easier on us. But, you know, they're living that lifestyle where they know the demands of playing at a high level and how to treat their bodies, proper rest and all of that. No, this ain't no vacation, staying in a hotel type vibe. This is serious business. So I actually think it bodes well for us that we have, all these boys that are in these environments.
Yeah, Jay, just hearing from Sergio, talking about the upcoming tournament and the fact that we have so many young men over in the UK, over in the US, in already in programs where they understand what that level looks like, and of course, they're going to be up against it, when this tournament kicks off on Friday.
Definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing. Not to be sidetracked, but Earl, I'm thinking even the blessing, the fact that probably go back a few years now. We was just talking about immigration
Mhm.
earlier with foreign players, when we was able to get over that loophole for our young people to go away to school at local course, as we would say, local course.
Mhm.
It's changed. It's changed. It's
Yeah,
changed the program, especially football.
yeah,
Especially football, because we have so many young people. Just think if they were going over there and paying international fees,
right,
those parents wouldn't have been able to afford it.
right, yeah,
But because they're paying local fees compared to a lot of international fees around the world, it's made it accessible for a lot of our young people to go over and go school in the last 3 or 4 years. we're seeing the increase of more and more players overseas, and it bodes well because we see that it now goes straight into our national program, men's national program.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly everybody is based overseas.
That's right.
So as coaches now, like we I don't care if we have the senior men's coach on, we have the same conversations. It's basically how are you able to follow the players and have some type of continuity with them, especially with the lack of camps. But going forward, when we look at this group they're going to be this tournament with Curacao, Anguilla, Turks and Caicos, and Canada.
Yeah.
It's you say we win it. We're going through.
Yeah.
I think the other advantage we have, not only just playing at home, but all our games is at the same time too.
Yes. Yeah.
All our games at the same time. We play the second game of every match day, well, besides one. We do not play on the February 13th. That's our off day for Bermuda.
Right.
Every match day we play at 8 p.m. where all the other teams will have to play us at 8 o'clock. But for the most part, they will play at, I believe, 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's going to be I'm looking forward to it. We'll be there for all 4 days, but all 4 days, match days. But I'm really looking forward to it. And then once again, hopefully the workouts are even more now since the team has been picked, which sometimes I feel they should get out quicker than that. But anyway, that's I know. Yeah. It's not just us here when they put the teams out. It's all over CONCACAF at a certain window that they put the teams out. So I do understand that.
The team was out last week Thursday.
I said a window. I didn't say time. I said a window. I said a window.
So that team was out last week Thursday. That the team should have been to CONCACAF probably by Wednesday.
Like I say, a window. But no, I'm actually real excited to see some of these young people because guess what? Being up at the National Sports Center during the Gregory Grimes tournament and the tournaments over the last few years, and I'm seeing some of these names that are very familiar with Curtis Jackson Jr. and Gill, Dakari Smith-Davis, Diari Cuddington, K.O. Levrock, Kanala Trey, Sammy Corralo, youngster from PAC just went away, Harlem Bean Fox.
Yeah. Just say you know the parents.
Well, and y'all can see the last one just not naive.
Just say you know the parents. Come on.
Yes, I know Carla Zul. Yes, I know Carla Zul. Oh boy. Yes, we do, Earl Biz. Yes, we do. No, but they're saying that, but we've seen him come through the ranks with the under 11s tournament, the under 13 tournaments, and so we're seeing them come through. And like I say, to see these now, they're playing the trade, not only trade, but also the schooling abroad. Like Sergeant said, they're in the professional setup. Yeah. So I think probably be a lot easier trying to manage that age group now when they come back home. Yeah, because you're talking about under 17s, all 16 now, right? So they could move around, but a lot more freely, right? But I think it builds well, like I said, for a tournament. One thing I did want to get back to, Earl, and I just wanted to see any update because Coach Adam did mention about the next 2 months. When do the girls have to be ready to play again? April. Yeah. So I know there's always a challenge, and I don't know how when we get back on the press or anybody, but having a challenge to get these girls some practice matches.
Yeah, I mean, he spoke about that after after the loss, the Friday night. That he spoke. He was frank. He said, we have to get technically better. We have to get fitter. Those are the things we lack as a unit. And you're not going to be able. I mean, you could work hard in 2 months, but the opposition that you'll face. But we have to get better at getting a team fitter and getting a team a little more technically better. We have some talented players, but as a team, you want to be technically better. And he recognizes that, and obviously he can now sit back with the executive of the Bermuda Football Association, with other coaches, and they can figure out how can we technically get better, how can we physically get better, using whatever resources are available to us. So it's all about that managing, working with the young ladies or working with the teams to do that, because we even see that with the men. We play well for a certain amount of time, and then especially local based players, you start seeing the legs go.
I tell you, 60 to 65 minutes. You see it in mostly every game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you said, some 3 areas that you're looking to. Hopefully, we can improve in the next couple of months, and that's tactically, but also physically,
Mm-hmm.
and also a stamina, or per se. And I think tactically and getting the girls up to get them fit for the next level, that's doable, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's doable. You got some time here, get some, but that physicality part, and too, too, Earl, as they say when we used to fight Tyson, everybody they can box until they get hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, hold up.
Punching bag, don't punch back, see?
Yeah, that's sparring we was doing and training we was doing, and you can't say can't go tell everybody go slide into everybody hard. You know what I'm saying? Your body just does. So that is something that is not much you can really do to train for that now, can you?
No.
You just got to be fit enough to be able to take a knock, and that the higher you go up, the knocks come harder.
That's right. Yeah. So,
but like I said, boys, I'm glad they have the opportunity, and like I said, it's in their hands right now.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Bermuda, we definitely need you to come out. And you can't even complain. The price is even $10, so it's not like it's And I'm glad it's $10, because guess what? Now they could bring out families, right? And this really should be put toward all families right now. Is affordable for families to bring the whole family, not just the kids, but the grannies, the aunties, everybody.
Yeah.
Ain't no VIP, this P and that P. Everybody, first come, first serve. Let's get everybody in the stadium.
Sure. Well, before we go, Juggler, let me just quickly run down our overseas players, their turnouts for this weekend. We saw Nikki Wells in Bristol City draw 1-1. Unfortunately, Nikki was substituted after they had the first player sent off. They changed the tactics, and then they had another player sent off. So they finished with 9 men, but ended up with a 1-1 draw with Oxford United. Reggie Lamb and his Needingham team, market teammates, they came up with a 2-1 win over Warrington. Keysai Martin and Rochelle Olympic shared the spoils 1-1 with Cruzen Ashton. Dale Eve was not in the Avil Church FC team this past weekend. However, he reportedly turned down an offer from a Southern League Premier Division Central team to join them and to play. So he's committed to Avil Church for the rest of the season. And we're hoping that he gets some more games before Bermuda is called upon to play internationally. Willie Clemens and his Felix Stowe and Walton teammates, they earned a point coming from behind in the second half to secure a 1-1 draw with Midenhall Town FC. Justin Donawa was an unused substitute as his Brackley Town teammates, they fell 3-2 to Hereford FC. Kane Critchlow had a mixed day. He scored for Cheltenham Ford City in their 1-1 draw. They were leading for quite some time as he scored in the first half, but gave up a goal late in the match to share the points. Norris Scott and his Lansing SC teammates suffered a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Shepley United. And then we saw David Bascom's Baltimore Blast. They're now second in the league, Juggler. Got 10 wins from 11 matches. They defeated Milwaukee Wave 9-3 on the road. So he's doing a remarkable job leading there. Sean Goda has been now named as the strikers coach for Aston Villa. He was interim coach. They now have the head coach Ian, and Sean moves back to the position which he held before taking over the interim job. The Aston Villa women, they played the league champions Chelsea, and unfortunately went down 1-0. A late earned goal earned Chelsea all 3 points in that match. And Deshaun Cooper's Queen's Park Rangers women, he helps out with the women's goalkeeping training. They drew 0-0 at Chesham United in a league match. Kenny Thompson, she scored what proved to be the AFC Bournemouth women's team winner. She scored twice, matter of fact, fresh from the spot, and then another shot that went in. She scored twice on the day in their 3-0 win over Keysham Town. Jasmine Spence and her Newport Pagnell Town teammates, they went down 2-1 to Thrashup Town ladies. Aaliyah Nolan and her Bradford City women's teammates, they enjoyed another dominant performance this week, winning 6-0 over York Rail Institute ladies. Eva Frazzoni and her AFC Sudbury women's teammates, they defeated Ashton Town 1-0. Kiana Dill and her FC of United of Manchester women's teammates, they endured a tough day, going down 7-0 to Hollyhedge Park. And Zakari Turner and her River City women's and girls team enjoyed a high-scoring victory, defeating Long Eaton United 7-2. So that's some of our players overseas over in this past weekend, Juggler. We continue to give them their due, and encourage them to keep playing and keep Bermuda going over in the UK and over in the US.
And also, like I said, prepare yourself for when they come back and play for, once again, us. I mean, with the to hear Kenny, she's scoring goals again. And even Leah Nolan back out. It's nice to hear these names back out after these like coming from injuries and stuff. So, definitely looking forward to the future for all of them. And for the Baltimore Blast, I think David's being some avocado toast. I saw him the other day, so I guess that was the,
You think he's giving it to the players?
Yeah, the chef had to close his eyes on this one. I'm like, just having trouble spreading avocado. It's like, I'm praying.
Let's put it like this: he's got him cooking on the field and he's cooking in the kitchen.
Well, it's working. So whatever it is, don't stop. Don't stop. Well, I guess it must bring joy to everybody. So.
Sure.
Yeah, but most definitely. I mean, and that whole idea of it, just the camaraderie of it, it's working. It's definitely working.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Jay, I want to say enjoy the under-17 football coming up over the next few days.
Friday.
So Bermuda, come out and support these young men, because realistically, Jay, and I'll say this wholeheartedly, these young men could be doing so much worse than representing us. And what's on the line is a spot in the World Cup. So, it could be a history-making event for Bermuda that, a team could make the World Cup, and just think you could be there to witness it all and help them through it just by some encouraging words from the stand. So,
not only that, Not only that, we play at 8:00, but fans feel free because from what I've been told, I believe once you get in during the day, you're good to stay the whole day
Yeah,
for
you
both
just the
teams,
entire
right?
day. Yes. Yes.
So the first game is at 3 p.m. On Friday. It's Anguilla versus Turks and Caicos. Hey, come and see the game. Come and see it because guess what? We're gonna play those two teams.
That's
So
right.
let's take in the game, and then also turn around and watch us play Curacao on Friday. Then Sunday. Well, what are you doing Sunday at 8 p.m.?
Well,
we should be at National Stadium. That's where we should.
Some people will say they'll rather watch the Super Bowl.
Like I said, we should be.
We should be at I agree with you 100%, Juggler.
I guarantee the Super Bowl will be on some type of channel being replayed.
And realistically, Jay,
and replayed.
Don't go off till after midnight. You can get back to whatever party you was going to or whatever house. Get home and watch the tail end of the game.
So I'm breaking tradition on that day, as you know.
Yeah. Well.
I'm breaking tradition, so, but I will be at National Sports Center.
All right. Well, yes, sir.
I mean, Philadelphia Stadium, I should say, not Northfield. I'll be at the wrong field.
Well, yeah, you be at the National Stadium. You be in the gate. All right, buddy. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good week, and we'll be talking with you as the days go by, especially from the National Sports Center. Enjoy your night.
Take care.
Right.